Hi everyone, it's a Tides Changing here. Today I'm going to be doing a video that's a little bit different. So as you see in the title, it is called Sims 3 Farewell Tag / Sims 4 Create a Sim Demo Simself. So I got tagged to do the Sims 3 Farewell Tag about a week ago by Joey or Joey, and I'm just now getting around to doing it. And I also had been wanting to make a Simself of myself with the Sims 4 Create a Sim demo, and I was going to do them as two separate videos and upload two videos in the same day. But then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, why don't I just combine them so that way, there aren't just pictures in the background of the farewell tag, and I'm not sitting there talking about every single detail of the Create a Sim demo. So yeah, I thought it'd be more interesting to have, me making my Simself in the background while I do the tag. But before doing the tag, I did want to briefly talk a little bit about myself and why I gave my Simself the traits that I did. So, as you may have seen, the first trait that I gave myself was the athletic trait. I chose that trait because while I didn't do a lot of sports in high school or college, I did begin exercising regularly, like 5 or 6 days a week after graduating from high school. Health and fitness is just really important to me because I realized that being healthy in general is good for you, and that it can also just prevent a lot of health issues later on in life. So that's just something I really focus on, and that is so important to me. Also, like the description of the trait says, when I don't exercise for a while, I do miss it, and I kind of go through exercise withdrawal a little bit. Like, that happened to me a little bit when I went on my vacation, because I didn't do any of my regular exercising while I was gone, and I actually kind of missed it and just felt so much better when I got back into it. And I also gave myself the perfectionist trait because, as I've said in, some of my building videos, I'm definitely a perfectionist, and I will take my time doing things, and I'll, redo things constantly until I feel like it's perfect and it's, about to the best I can do. And I feel awful if I put out something that I don't think is really the best quality that I can. And I also gave myself ambitious because I like to achieve things, and, if I feel like I haven't moved up in something in a while, I get a little bit antsy, and I'm like, I just feel like I constantly need to be improving myself and going somewhere. As far as the lifetime wish goes, I wasn't exactly sure. I guess now they call it aspiration. I think it's called aspiration in The Sims 4. I don't remember. But, there weren't really nearly as many as in The Sims 3, but I felt like the closest one was, I believe it was Nerd Brain, which was to be both book smart and handy, I think, which, I'm studying to become a mechanical engineer, so I felt like that kind of went with that a little. And with that also came the quick learner traits. So yeah, those are the traits that I chose for myself. So now I'm going to move into the Sims 3 farewell tag, which isn't necessarily to say goodbye to The Sims 3 because I still will be playing it, but it's more so to reminisce about the era where The Sims 3 was the main Sims game. So the first question in the tag is, when did you start playing The Sims 3? I can't remember it exactly. I think I started playing it within a couple of days after release. I'm pretty sure it wasn't release day because I didn't really track the release of The Sims 3 as closely as I am The Sims 4 because I hadn't played The Sims 2 6 months to a year prior to the release of The Sims 3. I think I just kind of lost interest in The Sims 2 or school got too busy or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But at the time of that The Sims 3 was released, I was actually working at Walmart because Walmart was my first job. Everyone has that crappy first job that just kind of sucked. But yeah, mine was Walmart, and I guess it was the first day I worked after the release of the game. I was going by the electronics section and I saw it and I was like, oh, hey, it's out. So I just got it, and the interesting thing was that I had actually ordered a new laptop shortly, I think a week before that or something like that, and was still waiting for it to come in, and the computer I had at the time would not even function with trying to play The Sims 3. So I bought the game even though I didn't even have a computer that could run it yet, and I was like, well, maybe my laptop will be there when I get home. And I got home and the laptop was actually there. I got the game and the laptop came the same day. So I installed that night and just played it for hours, and I spent a lot of time that summer playing the game and getting to know it. The next question is, what did you like the most about The Sims 3? So I think two of my favorite things about The Sims 3 was the open world and the creative style. I remember being so excited when I heard that there was open world because I just got annoyed with having to go through a loading screen every time you went to a new lot in The Sims 2. Like, that just kind of drove me nuts. So just the promise of being able to go anywhere in the sim world that you wanted just sounded so amazing. I mean, it was a little bit laggy, but that's just something I really, really love about The Sims 3. And I was kind of disappointed when I heard that The Sims 4 wasn't a completely open world, but the fact that you can go within a few different lots without going through a loading screen, I guess, does make it a little bit better. But I definitely will miss the open world. And also, like I said, creative style was another thing that I really loved about The Sims 3. I just really enjoy being able to make anything, any pattern you want, even though that made building lots take an eternity for me because I would just sit there trying to get the perfect color combination. And I remember when I first got the game, for some reason I made this house and put a sim in it, and I thought for some reason it would be a good idea to make every single item in one room the same pattern. So I chose this it was like a funky brown, one of the geometric patterns, but it was just a bunch of squares. And I made the fridge that pattern, I made the stove that pattern, I made the couch that pattern, I made the TV that pattern. I just made everything in the room like one pattern just because I thought it'd be funny and entertaining to have a sim live in a house like that. So that's just something I remember doing right after getting the game just to experiment with it. The next is, what did you spend most of your time doing in The Sims 3? I would say it's about 50-50, maybe 60-40 between building and playing. You know, maybe 60% building, 40% playing. It's kind of hard to say because when I first got the game, for the first couple years The Sims 3 was out, I just didn't build at all. Like, I would build little crappy things for my Sims to live in, but I used to build a lot back in The Sims 2 Day, Sims 2 Days, and then I guess I took a break for it, and then when The Sims 3 came out, I didn't get back into that right away, so yeah, for the first couple years The Sims 3 was out, I pretty much just played it, and then I got back into building back in like 2012, I think, and then for a couple years or so, but I guess like a year and a half or so, all I did was build. I didn't play the game at all. Like, new expansion packs were coming out, and I just never really actually played them. I just built. And then I started YouTube, and almost a year ago actually, and once I started it, I did get back into gameplay a little bit more, and then I guess it kind of became more half and half. So I think it is about a 50-50 split between the two, since I think the period where I pretty much just played the game was longer than the period where I just built. So yeah, 50-50 split, I'd say. The next is one thing you won't forget about The Sims 3. So I think this kind of goes with the second question, which was, what was your favorite thing about The Sims 3? So I guess I'm gonna say one thing I won't forget about it is the open world. The next question is one thing that has annoyed you the most with The Sims 3. So this is definitely the random crashing to desktop with no warnings. That just, ugh, especially with my Generations Let's Play, that just drove me absolutely nuts, where I would just be playing for 10 minutes and then it would crash out of nowhere. And that's just, and it happened before too, like back when I used to play by myself a lot. It just would crash, and it was one of the most infuriating things because it would crash and I would just sit there staring at the screen like, are you serious? And I would lose like an hour of gameplay because I forgot to save, and then I have to go back in and redo everything I did, and that just pissed me off the most about this game, that happened. And aside from that, there were a few annoying glitches here and there that got on my nerves. I used to have this issue with every time I sent a sim on a trip to one of the worlds from World Adventures, my game would glitch out, and I would get this weird thing where every time I try to have a sim sleep, they would randomly they would go to bed, and then they would randomly pop up somewhere else in the room standing up, and that would happen every time I try to get them to go to bed. And shortly after that, the save file would just corrupt, and like their heads would, where it shows their face on the side where you can change between the different sims, it wouldn't show their face, and I couldn't select other sims, and then whenever that happened, I would have to start a new save file. So because of that, for a while I didn't do anything with the World Adventures, but by the time I started my World Adventures Let's Play, that issue was apparently fixed, and I haven't had an issue with that since, fortunately. The next question is, how has The Sims 3 impacted your life? So first off, I'm just gonna say kind of the pattern that's at this game has distracted me so much. Like, I've probably spent more time playing this game than I should have. But that aside, the good thing is that if it weren't for The Sims 3, I would have never started a YouTube channel, which was just a really good experience for me. I think, it really helped me with putting myself out there more, and something else that it really helped me with was public speaking. My commentaries definitely improved a lot, and that's kind of translated to doing presentations, for school and work and stuff. Like, I'm a lot more comfortable doing presentations, and in the past I had a tendency wherever I would do a presentation, I would just look at the PowerPoint the entire time, reading the slides word for word. But after starting YouTube, now when I do presentations, I can look at the crowd more and just say things from memory more and like elaborate, and it just comes so much more naturally. And as soon as I start doing a presentation, I go into that recording mode where I don't have to think about it, and I say things and it comes naturally, and I don't stumble over my words as much. And that to me is just amazing. And as with a career in engineering, doing presentations is really important. You have to pitch to sponsors a lot, so just having that skill is so important to my future, and I'm really thankful that The Sims 3 somehow led me to that. The last question is, will you still be playing The Sims 3 after the release of The Sims 4? And the answer is yes, because I do want to finish my Generations Let's Play. It's about 28 parts in now, so it's about halfway through, and I really do want to finish that. So once that ends, I don't know how much more I'll be playing The Sims 3, but and I'll probably still do some speed builds in The Sims 3, but only if they're for that particular Let's Play. So yeah, for a couple months after the release, I probably still will be playing The Sims 3. It is customary to tag other people to do this as well, so I will be tagging XSimmerX, Ansett4Sims, WillSim64, Trippy Cartoons, and Simtastic Builder, and there will be links to their channels as well as Joey's in the description below. And I also tag, anyone who is watching this that wants to do it themselves. So before the end of this video, I did want to quickly talk about what my plans are video-wise for The Sims 4. So I will be doing a Let's Play, but what I want to do with the Let's Play will take a good bit of setup, and I also need to learn some of the game mechanics first before doing it. I also wanted to make a trailer to explain what I want to do with my Let's Play rather than rambling for the first 5 minutes of the first part about it. So doing all of that will take a good bit of preparation. Because of that, my Let's Play probably won't start until a couple of weeks after the release of the game. Also, I feel like if I try to get the Let's Play out there as soon as I could, like on release day or the day after that, the quality would be compromised. But I do want to record my initial reactions to the game, so what I'm planning on doing is making a first impressions mini-series. And I'm thinking about starting it off by going in and building my first house with The Sims 4, and it'll just be a small starter-sized home, and actually record it live, so it won't be like one of my Let's Builds where I record it and speed it up 3 times to do post-commentary. I'll be recording as I'm building it, real time, so you'll get to see the whole process and me kind of learning the building tools, and I will of course put whatever I make on the gallery when it's done. And then I was thinking about making 2 or 3 videos of my first impressions of the gameplay, and I was thinking about moving my Simself into the house that I make, and just, like I said, just getting my initial impressions of the game out there. So it'll probably be about like a 5 or 6 part mini-series, so it won't really be that much, and then once that's over with, there'll probably be a 1 or 2 week break between that and my Let's Play starting. But in that break, I'll be uploading Generations, so I'll probably have a few parts of that in that time. I also want to do a Let's Build series with The Sims 4 at some point. I'm not sure when though, because that will depend on how crazy things get with school. There's a possibility that I might not be able to do one until after the semester is over, because Let's Builds do take longer to make than Let's Plays. But I will do speed builds though, so there will be some building videos up in the meantime. My Simself is now just about finished, and I will say it was really hard to try and make a sim version of myself, but I did upload her to the gallery, and my username on there is the Tide Changing without the S, because what happened was that I think when Origin was first started, I made an account for the Tides Changing with an old email address, and then several years later, I needed to use Origin again, and I had completely forgotten that I had made an account in the past. So then when I went to go make another one with a different email address, the Tides Changing was taken. So I just made it the Tide Changing, and then that's the one that I registered the Sims 4 and the Sims 4 Create a Sim demo to. So yeah, hopefully I can see if I can get that straightened out, but I don't know if I can. That's all for this video though. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and bye!